Lois Laight, welcome to Perfect Health on Elastic FM with Elaine Godley. Thank you for spending time with me this afternoon and
Hello, thank you for having me.
sharing your story with our listeners. You do something really quite unusual, but very, very kind and caring. You make memory cushions.
Yes, that's right. I made two cushions for my mum. Um, when I used to make things for other people, make gifts with cushions with slogans on. And when she went into a nursing home, I put just a little slogan on it. Mums are like buttons; they hold everything together.
Ah,
Um, and then on the back, I just put all our names, so hers and my dad's name, my husband, me, my daughter, and the dog, and then my sister and her husband, just as like sort of a comfort thing, so that she can remember us when we couldn't be there for her. And she was really attached to it. She used to read it when we weren't there. So then I made her a second one, and she kept the two on her bed and used to read them over and over again.
oh, how lovely! That's really thoughtful. How did you make them? And how did you put the names on? Did you paint, sew, embroider?
Yes,
What did you do?
I paint them. So I use durable glitter paints. So the cushions I use are either velvet, velour, chenille, or usually soft material, so that it's sensory for them, because people
Yes.
with dementia, they get fidgety fingers. And it's usually when they remember doing things and remember feeling useful. So when they're touching and squishing and fidgeting with fabric, it's it's like a communication. So because the glitter paints are raised, then it just gives a little bit of a sensory feeling as well on the cushion, as well as the fact she used to read it, so it was sort of multi-sensory.
Excellent. That's really nice. So from making two cushions for your mother, um, did you then get into making more for other people?
So before I did the ones for her, I made them as gifts, for special occasions, anniversaries, and when friends at work were leaving, things like that. So since that, I've been trying to promote them, because the nurses would say that she would read them over and over when we weren't there. It's a comfort thing. So as well as the fact, the reading promotes the blood flow to the front of the brain. So it's helping keep that part of the brain fired up. Um, it doesn't it doesn't stop dementia, and it doesn't slow it down, but it does just keep things working.
Yes.
Um, so because of that, I thought, well, this could help other people. And I've made a few for other people as well, and that are in the same situation.
What size are the cushions?
They're approximately 16 inches by 16 inches square.
So
But
that's
then
like
I've made other ones, like the pillows that are sort of rectangular shape. Um, but they're machine washable, because the paints are really, really hard wearing. They're machine washable, and they used to wash hers weekly, because people with dementia struggle with eating and things, so they get all sorts on them. So they just keep washing them. Um, so they're practical as well as being comforting for people.
I think it's a great idea, absolutely great idea. So how do you know what to write on the cushions? Do people who order them tell you names to go on the back? Is it the same concept as you did for your mother?
Yes. So um, sometimes I do a family tree. So I'll decorate a tree shape and then put their family names inside the tree. I've made a few of those. I've made some that are in a Scrabble sort of form, so they're Scrabble letters.
Ah,
And then others I've just written favourite sayings or favourite song lyrics. So for Mum, I did "You Are My Sunshine," because she used to sing it to me as a child,
oh,
and then as soon as she started reading it, she would start singing it. So
oh, how lovely.
they act as a distraction. When people with dementia, they get so frustrated and sometimes upset when they have to be washed, or when they have to have something done to them, get dressed, things like that. Daily occurrences can upset them. So sometimes when you can just point to something, it just acts as a distraction and switches their brain so that they're thinking of something else.
Wonderful. When did you make your first cushions?
About 4 or 5 years ago. I used to, when I got married 13 years ago, I wanted a just married bikini. And I wasn't prepared to pay the prices, thinking, well, I can make that myself. So I did it with glitter paints, and I started by selling those on eBay and things. So that's how I knew about using them for fabric. So I've dabbled in different things, and then it was just when someone left at work about 5 years ago that I did one for them and thought, oh, I could make more.
Do you still work, Lois?
I'm a carer for my dad. I used to work in education. I was a teaching assistant, and I had to give it up last year to look after my mum and my dad. They were split, one sort of a radius of about 70 miles between us. So I just couldn't work and look after them as well. So I gave up work, but I am looking at volunteering again, maybe one afternoon a week with reading in school, just because I loved my job so much. It just gives me a bit of me time.
Exactly. And I would imagine the cushion idea would be good for children as well, particularly when they first start school and there's a comfort thing, words on the back.
Yes, they're good for, I used to work one-to-one with a little boy that had autism, and he used to love, he was into SpongeBob SquarePants, and I found a SpongeBob cushion, and whenever he was upset, then he used to cling to it. So actually, they would be good with children with special needs as well, just for that squishiness, and comfort.
Yes, fabulous. What's inside them? You said they're washable, so what are they made from inside?
Washable. So they're removable covers. They can be, I think they used to wash mum's actually all encased. They're only polyester wadding inside. So yes, they're machine washable. They used to tumble dry, although I don't advocate that, just in case anything goes wrong. But they used to wash hers all the time. In fact, I've still got mum's. I keep it, and it looks as good as when I made it. So they wash and wear well.
Wonderful. How can people get hold of you to order these cushions?
I'm in the middle of creating a website, which should be called Made by Lois, Loved by You, something along that theme.
That's nice. Okay.
But people order from, I have a Facebook page and I'm on Instagram with Made by Lois, Loved by You.
Made by Lois, Lois, loved,
right.
Loved by you. Love or loved? Loved. Made by Lois, loved by you, and that's we can search that on Facebook and find you. Right. Okay. Well, we shall do that.
There was nothing out there similar. You can see memory cushions where people have made things out of garments of loved ones and things, but I couldn't see anything that was more personal with sayings and family names and things like that. So that's why I've been trying to promote them, really, to help other people.
That's lovely. And all kinds of things you can use them for, people that have passed, and as you say, their favourite sayings or things to make you smile and remember them fondly by, and something to hold on to, sort of give them a cuddle. That's a really lovely idea. I love it. Absolutely love it.
So I have one, and my dad has the other one that I made for Mum. So we've both got something from her, sort of thing.
Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. 2 song choices. The first one is You Are My Sunshine. As you mentioned, you had that on the cushion with the lyrics. So I shall be playing that for you. It's one of my favourite songs. That makes me smile as well.
It makes me smile, and Mum always used to sing it when I was a child. That's why I put it on her cushion. But yeah, I love that song.
Fabulous. And the other one is Nikita by Elton John. Why did you select that one?
Because I love music myself. I have quite a big varied mix of music that I like. But I bought his album last autumn. I think it's Diamonds, with his best of, and I played it over and over again because I live in one town. My dad lives in another town. My mum was moved to a nursing home in another town. So I was constantly in a triangle, and it just, I had it on repeat for those 4 or 5 months. And it just reminds me of how music can just calm you down when you're feeling a bit stressed and a bit lost. And I just love that song.
Wonderful. It's amazing the power of music. It can make you sad and cry. It can make you happy. It can make you laugh. It's wonderful, power of music. So those 2 songs I'll be playing after the interview for you. So thank you very much for sharing your story. I think it's a really lovely thing that you're doing, and long may it continue.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.